Have fun, Sophie.
Hello and welcome back to our channel. I'm Katie from Our Blessed Life, and today we are doing a day in the life of me, a homeschool high school student. Dad and Sophie just left for therapy, and now I'm going to go start school.
Stay tuned to the end of the video where Katie answers all your questions from Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube about homeschooling in high school.
Gonna stay in this moment, gonna lay here on the grass.
So we're going to show y'all real life this morning. You'll see we got a very late start with school. Katie started with pre-calculus. I wanted to show you Homeschool Planet because a lot of you ask questions about how we schedule. This is how we schedule. Katie can go in here and she can see this on her own, and I can also see it. And if she wants to, she can move things around. So if we have a bad day or we don't get things done, we can easily reschedule it. Also, Katie was sick the week before, so you'll see some red boxes here where she's not done with school. And we're trying to catch up from last week as well. We think about school more as what do we need to get done this week than what do we need to get done today. And it really relieves a lot of stress when you have older homeschool kids. For us, this system works really great. And she can come in here and manage herself and check things off when she's done. And then it does give me a place here where I can go in and enter her grade when she finishes. So Katie's been working on her math, and she's kind of gotten to a point where she's stuck on a new concept. So this is when I sit down and work with her, and we just try to figure it out together. So I'm actually going to sit down and watch the lecture with her, and then we're just going to see if we can talk it through. If not, we will probably go to Khan Academy and do a little bit of research until we can get past the roadblock.
This is where my heart is. Oh, I have seen many places where the beauty never ends.
Just because of looking M cis theta, and then if you look at that, that's in the same place as 37.
Numbers.
Yeah, that's how I figured it out. So this would end up in.
Okay, it's almost 1 o'clock, and Katie and I are getting ready to leave to go meet Sophie and Gary for lunch, which is what we do a lot of times on Tuesday. So on Tuesdays, whenever I'm not taking Sophie to therapy, I'm at home with Katie. Katie's doing her school. I help her as needed. And if she has any big projects or anything like that where I know she's going to need my help, we plan that to be on Tuesdays during that time. So this morning, we had an exceptionally difficult math day. And so she's basically been working on math all morning. Typically, it doesn't take her near this long, but we kind of have a math philosophy that there's really no point in rushing through it. We just park and just stay on a lesson as long as we need to, just until she gets the concept. But we just try not to stress about it, and just she eventually figures it out. So you saw me helping her earlier. A lot of times I'll sit down with her, and I don't know, there's something about me just sitting with her and listening to the lecture again and looking some things up online that she usually honestly ends up teaching me the concept. And it's just kind of like that, saying it out loud and telling it to another person helps her kind of get the concept in her own mind. So that's kind of what happened this morning. We've had our refrigerator go bad. We are driving to Lowe's to see if we can go and order one, because it's probably going to take over a week before we get one. So Katie is definitely not going to finish school today. We're going to go ahead and kind of continue this vlog into tomorrow, just so that you can see more of a typical day. Although for us with Sophie's therapy and stuff, we really don't have typical days. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. This is just real life here. This is the way we homeschool. I mean, we just kind of go with the flow and do what we have to do and bring school with us when we have to bring school with us. And, you know, if we need to catch up a little bit on the weekend, then that's what we do. So, okay, good morning. It's the next day. We just finished our history lesson, the beautiful year 2. We're on lesson 20. We're doing that as kind of a supplement for Katie's history, and it's also our morning time. So that's what I just finished doing, and I'll insert that footage here. And now we're just kind of in the schoolroom. We kind of like to make a plan for our day. So we look at Homeschool Planet, see what we need to do. We are behind. Yesterday was just a crazy day with our refrigerator dying on us, and then needing to handle some things related to that. And basically a lot of Katie's school day got cut short just because of family issues going on. And then she also had dance pretty early yesterday. It's one of her early dance days. And so did Sophie. So today we're all in here getting ready to do school. So Sophie has therapy again, but today her therapy is not until 12. And I'm still doing my intermittent fasting, so I will make a brunch right before she leaves. We're doing that instead of lunch. So right now we're gonna make a plan, what we're gonna do today, how to start getting caught up from being sick last week, and then also our crazy day yesterday, right, Katie? Mm-hmm. So we're gonna take a look at Homeschool Planet and go ahead and decide what we're gonna do. So we just had our meeting. Katie and I will usually get together and talk about her school day at the beginning of every day. This week has been a tough week for us, like I said, with the family issues with the refrigerator, having to do shopping and stuff, and kind of interrupting our school day in ways that doesn't normally happen. We always have a lot of interruptions with therapy, but we kind of know how to deal with that because that's like our normal life. And then the other thing was Katie, Sophie, and I were all really sick last week, and although we did school, we did not do full school days every day, so we're still trying to catch up from that. So what I did this morning, just to make Katie's life easier, is I went in and I adjusted Homeschool Planet. So I moved week 17 math to this week. And so these are the ones that she already finished. She actually did Wednesday's assignment yesterday. And so then she'll be she will not have another math assignment today. So I basically just moved the week up. So she is now technically actually ahead in math because we had the days to do that. She is a little bit ahead in biology. So our plan today, since she doesn't have math, and math is really the thing that normally takes her the longest, we're just going to try to get caught up on some of these little things from Monday and Tuesday and then finish up today, actually be caught up, and we'll be back on track. So that's what we do. We just flex as we need, and it ends up working out. That's also one of the reasons we school year round. We have a little bit of extra days built in, so that when we get behind, it's not a catastrophe. Okay, so right now I'm gonna go ahead and work with Katie. I'm gonna give Sophie her handwriting, and I'm gonna work with Katie and read her spelling sentences from The Good and the Beautiful Year 2 Language Arts. So they do, like, instead of spelling words, they do spelling sentences. So it includes some spelling, but it also includes some grammar and just correct word usage and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and call those sentences out to her. They basically do it for 3 days. So if you get it all right, the way we do it is if she gets it all right the first day, we just quit. We're done with it. If she misses any, then we do the second day. I just call out the ones she missed. After a thorough cleaning, we were surprised to learn that the familiar painting was appraised at hundreds of dollars.
So right now I am creating some Quizlet flashcards for my vocabulary for this unit.
Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights.
Okay, so right now we are taking a break from Sophie's school. I am making brunch, and Katie is reading to me from the Screw Tape Letters. This is something we're doing in Western Cultural History, and because I'm going to be helping lead discussions in her co-op, and also because I want to be able to have discussions with her, I want to read this at the same time. So right now, just because I'm busy and doing things, she's just reading it out loud.
The trouble about argument is that it moves the whole struggle on the enemy's own ground. They can argue too, whereas in really practical propaganda of the kind I am suggesting. So I'm doing science right now, and I use Sherman biology, and I'm doing my questions from the lecture that I just watched.
Trusting our wings to fly.
Okay, it's about 1:15 p.m. now. Katie is working on U.S. history. I am grading some of Katie's work, and Sophie is back from therapy now, and she's finishing up the last little bit of her school.
If I figure out where the road goes, even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my high.
Okay, now it's about 1:45 p.m. Sophie's done with school. Katie is beginning French, and Katie also has a dance this day at about 4 o'clock. She's got a little class that she volunteers with, and she's like an assistant teacher in that class, and then she has her own class later that evening. Katie uses a computer-based program called Fluens for French. So Katie finished up her school day today about 2:30 in the afternoon. She had to leave for dance around 3:30, and she did finish up all the work from the previous week as well as the beginning of this week, so she was totally caught up at the end of the day. So we're going to go ahead and answer some of the questions that y'all had left on YouTube and on my YouTube story about our homeschooling in high school, as well as Instagram. So I'm just going to let Katie answer. So the first one is, do you get to choose the subjects that you take, and do you get to choose the curriculum for the subjects?
Yeah, I do get to choose. My mom has offered me great freedom, and is in choosing.
Yeah, we have to meet the state requirements, so it's a matter of choosing from what's required. So do you want to take this year or next year? And then I usually will give her multiple. I'll kind of narrow down like things I know that she wouldn't like in terms of curriculum, and then I'll give her 2 or 3 options and say, take a look at these. What would you rather do? And that's kind of how we've been handling it so far.
I didn't have freedom like that when I was in challenge, because everything was laid out for you.
Yeah. How does your family handle the school year planning process in high school? Well, I would say that the first thing that I do is I figure out what classes she's going to need to have for that year. And then if there's anything where like we could do it this year or next year, then I go to Katie and say, do you want to do it this year or next year? How do you want to do that? Like when she decided she wanted to take French, then I added that. She really didn't have to have French. It could have been another language or
I didn't even need another language.
Yeah, you really didn't even have to have another language because you already had 2 years of Latin. So anyway, things like that. I'll find out what she wants to do. I'll find out what's required in terms of graduation and college entrance and that sort of thing, and then let her know. And then she gives me the input from that. With regard to the novels, we're doing a general year, an American year, a British year, and then we're probably going to dual enroll the last year. So for those, I will put together a list of some novels. I'll tell her what I know about them, if I've read them, if I think she'll like them. Let her look them up and things like that, and I'll let her narrow down a larger list, so she's not going and picking them all herself. She's kind of starting from a list that I've chosen, and so if we're trying to pick, for example, a total of 7, I may give her 14 or 10 or something like that, just depending on what I can find. The school year planning process, I think, we kind of choose the curriculum like I stated, and then in terms of schedule, I also ask for Katie's input on the schedule, because we do homeschool year round, and there are some years where we want a bigger summer, or we have different goals, and so I usually will talk to Katie about that as well, or I'll put I use Homeschool Planet to schedule, so I'll kind of do a draft, like these are the school days and these are the off days, and we just kind of talk about that, and we might modify it or whatever, but in the past few years, some of the things that she's wanted, for example, she has a week-long intensive for dance. She's asked not to have any bookwork that week because you're at dance, 5 hours those days?
Oh, there's not even time to do that, especially after this coming year. There won't be any more time.
You're there for like 5 or 6 hours during those days.
I'm there for longer than that. I'm there for basically the entire day.
Yeah, and then on some of her big performance weeks, she's also there for a really long time, so we've been trying to take some of those weeks off. So we work around dance a good bit, which is at her request, and I guess that's pretty much everything on scheduling. Okay, so the next one is, Katie, do you already know what you want to major in college?
No, I haven't really thought about that much yet.
You have some ideas. We've gone to some college fairs, but you haven't really committed to anything. You kind of keeping an open mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one. How do you stay consistent with your school schedule?
Well, I know that the bottom line is that I have to graduate from high school, and that I need to be done with my sophomore year by May 31st, because that's what our date requires. So I just know I have to do it, and it takes time away from me doing other things if I get behind.
Yeah, okay. Do you plan on doing any dual enrollment?
We are thinking about it for next year, but we are almost 100% sure that I will be doing some dual enrollment classes my senior year.
Yeah, right now we are considering history, world history, as an online dual enrollment next year, and then just depending on how the schedule is, we're considering doing her English for her senior year as dual enrollment. I don't know if that would be online or in person. I think she'd like for it to be a regular class, but I'm not sure if with dance and everything what the schedule will be like. And then also college algebra her senior year. So that's kind of our loose plan for now. What advice can you give to other high school homeschoolers?
Oh, I would say just to always stay on top of your work and try your best not to fall behind, because you will get stressed out if you do fall behind, and you'll be taking time away to do other things to catch up.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have as much time for the things you really want to do. Okay. What do you do if you fall behind on your school schedule?
Well, I take days where I have less work and schedule it then, or if I can't figure out a way to do that, then I do it over the weekend.
So we do have the ability to move things around. So homeschooling year-round really helps a lot with that, because you do have more than 180 days, at your fingertips. So it really does help not get behind. Unless she just decided not to do work, just like I'm just not doing work. I don't think she would really ever be truly behind, because something like sickness or just a bad day or a weird day, when life kind of intervenes and you don't get everything done that you want to do, we can usually overcome that pretty easily just by moving things around. That's another reason why we like a weekly schedule versus a daily schedule. We can just kind of reposition things. What do you like about homeschool? What are the things you like best?
Well, I like that there is freedom, and on most days it doesn't take as long as public school does. And homeschooling, basically all of your work is homework, so you don't have to come home to do more work after you've been at school all day, and that helps me out a lot for a dance. So like after dance, I can just come home to do what I want instead of doing homework.
What do you not like about homeschooling? Or like what would be like your least favorite thing?
I like everything about homeschooling. There is nothing that I don't like.
Okay. How do you like doing independent work? Do you like doing, because most of your stuff is independent, do you like that?
Yeah, I do.
It's a lot different than when you were younger and we sat beside each other all day and we were, kind of like how Sophie's school is.
It allows more of it allows me just to go ahead and get it done too, because
a little faster.
Yeah, because you got a phone call, so you have to go take that.
Right, you're not having to stop and wait on me. Okay, do you ever feel like you're missing out on the high school experience?
I will say that there are some days that do make me feel like that, but there is, at least around here, there's a homeschool prom and homeschool homecoming and isn't all that. So I really don't miss it, because I have my friends that I hang out with, and that's enough. I don't need any big high school experience.
Yeah, so I think, most of y'all out there that do homeschool know that, homeschool kids have friends and do stuff too. Katie has a lot of friends through dance, but she also has other homeschool friends that she hangs out with, so it's not like she's at home by herself all the time. Then somebody else is asking, what is your favorite subject or program that you use? Like out of all the classes you're taking this year, what would be your favorite?
I used to say that math was my favorite, but I'm not as big into pre-calculus as I was into algebra, so I don't have a favorite subject out of like the subjects that I'm taking this year, but my favorite program is definitely Shoreman.
What is your favorite subject just in general? Like not necessarily what you're doing this year, but like what is your favorite overall subject in school? Language.
So my least favorite subject will always be English. I can't stand writing papers.
And what's your favorite subject?
And my favorite subject would either be science or math.
Okay. How do you stay organized as a high school student?
Well, Homeschool Planet, that gets me organized.
Okay, how do you organize your books, tasks, and schedule? Let's show them how you organize your books.
So I use these two organizer thingies, and one I have my notebooks in and my language arts units that I'm not in yet, and one with some like books, with some books that I'm in and my clipboard and things like that. And then I also have my books that don't fit in those, just in the corner right here. My completed work goes in here, so just in case a date needs to make sure that we really are homeschooling, they can see all that.
The last question came in after filming, so we're doing it as a voiceover. Would you homeschool your own children?
I like the idea of homeschooling my own kids. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, then please give it a thumbs up, as Sophie would do. There's thumbs up. Subscribe down below, and we will see you next time. Bye.